evening, everybody. Thank you so much for spending more time together. I know how you feel after Saturday. You just didn't get enough with an 8-hour meeting, so everyone's back at it. Yeah, trying to get some more. Very good. Council, great to see you, my friends. Folks who are here joining us in person, it is so good to have you. Those of you joining us electronically, welcome. This is a regular study session meeting of the City Council. The City of Waverly, Iowa. Today is Monday, January 27th. It is 7 o'clock. This meeting is called to order. Would you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, the City Clerk has prepared for you an agenda. It's in front of you. May I have a motion?
Move approval of the agenda as presented.
Second. Any discussion? This will be a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That passed unanimously. Welcome back. Al Charlson, this is your final council meeting as a guest council person, but I imagine you've had so much fun that you'll just keep coming week after week.
You never know.
You never know. Welcome, Al. I'd like to take a moment to recognize Dennis Hansen. He has been serving on the Municipal Airport Commission for 14 years. And, we so much appreciate every citizen that volunteers on our different committees, boards, commissions, or with the big events. Almost everything we do doesn't happen without volunteers. So I think it's great to be able to recognize Dennis for 14 years of service. Dennis, come on up.
Come on down.
Yeah, I should. Don't you? I'll meet you over at the microphone. Dennis Hansen, I present to you a certificate of appreciation for your participation in the Waverly Municipal Airport Commission from April 19th, 2010 till September 25th, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I very much appreciate the opportunity to serve the community. Would like to thank all those involved, the airport managers, Irv, Barb, Clint out there at the airport. They're at the ground level managing the airport, seeing the customers and taking care of them. They're their first face they see from incoming people, and they are welcoming, and I'm very proud to have worked with them. Thank you to the city itself, the staff, for all the hard work they've done in preparing the monthly budgets, the financial reports, working with engineers on all the projects, from oversight of the projects to working with the engineering firms to lay them out with applications for funds. They do the bulk of the work. I review it at the commission meetings. They carry the heavy loads, and so it's been very enjoyable being on commission, and thank you for the opportunity. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your service.
We'll move to a time of public comments on items that are not on the agenda. If you would like to rise to speak to something not currently on the agenda, now's your moment. I see no one rising, so we'll enter into item F. This is a study session. The calendar for today calls for the Human Equity and Diversity Commission's annual report to the council.
Hi again. Glad to have you back. I am Andy Hansen, the chairperson for the Human Equity and Diversity Commission. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us. Goal for tonight is to share with you what we've done and what we hope to do in the future. With me, well, I'll go through. We got Carly here, who's our staff liaison. Jen is our council liaison. Back here we got Ashley Smiley, and then Amy Kangas is our secretary. And then we got Nikolai Falenchek, Linda Abkemeyer, Shar Rorda, and Stephanie Ross, who are not with us tonight. So, okay, our vision, which we came up with a few years ago, is to strive for a thriving community where all people can feel safe, welcomed, and valued, and can expect to be embraced in their uniqueness with equitable access to all of Waverly's opportunities. I mentioned last year when I did this that was a very intentional vision. Each word was carefully selected, and it's like something that helps guide our work. Our mission, a little shorter, is to foster a culture of belonging within the Waverly community. So every time we interact with anybody, that's at the focus of how we move forward with whatever might be coming, collaboration-wise, advocacy-wise, etc. Our four pillars are education, connection, collaboration, and advocacy. With each of those, we have a few goals, which again, guide our work as we collaborate with people in the community. So, regarding the education pillar, it's kind of twofold. One is to get the community to understand who we are, know what we do, which again, still work in progress. We're still continually trying to define ourselves. But in addition to outreach and educating the community that we exist, we also strive to educate ourselves and community members with current events or issues that might affect how people in Waverly might be feeling regarding the culture of belonging. So, to that end, we have tried to have as many book discussions as we can plan and read for and facilitate. So the most recent one, you can see a picture of it there, is called Unrig. This, the way we choose our books when we do these things is to find out, or to consider what's in the news, what's trending, what's confusing, what are people talking about online, what might we not fully understand ourselves, what could we offer the community as far as an opportunity to learn something about what might be, a hot topic. So about the time right before the election, a lot of words were thrown around online: fascism, communism, socialism, all the things. People were getting really impassioned about politics. So as a commission, we said let's educate ourselves. Let's provide an opportunity to look into something about the way our government works. This book was advertised as a nonpartisan look at our democracy and its current state, and kind of open up eyes to some inner workings or behind the scenes look at how our government works. At the time we chose it, none of us had read it, so turns out about 3/4 into the book, it becomes a little bit partisan, unfortunately, but that was also an opportunity to have a conversation about, okay, how do we make these engaging so that we can actually come together and diversify what we're looking at. So all that to say, this is a good way to educate ourselves and provide opportunity to have conversations about things that are hot in our culture, basically. Those other two are from prior years. I think I mentioned them last time I talked. Another educational endeavor was a workshop that one of our commission members, Shar Rorda, led as an effort to educate anyone who wanted to come. It was a free workshop on how to care for Afro-textured hair, recognizing that we have some white parents in the community who might not have the knowledge that they need to care for children that they might be caring for who have Afro-textured hair. So that was really well received, and it felt good to be able to reach beyond what we were already doing to provide an opportunity for public to come and experience that. Regarding our pillar of connection, mentioned this the other day, we want to create opportunities for community members to come together. So block parties were a big initiative for us last year. Had a couple of commission members work really hard on collaborating with the library to get these underway. I think there were 6 in total. Yeah. Carefully chosen. Couldn't do every neighborhood in the city, so selected a few to kind of get the initiative underway. The end result was positive. We got some good feedback. And if you want to check out the block party guide online, it's very cool and aesthetically pleasing, and it gives you all the details for how to put your own block party on for your neighborhood. So anywhere from like planning and how to do invitations and ideas for activities and what kind of food to consider, how to set up, how to tear down, how to clean up, how to get your permit, all the things. So hopefully that's a sustainable thing that can keep continuing. It'll require a little bit more marketing, I think, but hopefully once the snow and cold weather disappear, we'll see more of those happening. Another effort, we're, I think, our 4th annual Wartburg College International Student Welcome Week. So very shortly after the international students from Wartburg arrive, they have an event in Coleman Park. So we collaborate with Wartburg to provide some engaging activities for them to get familiar with the community of Waverly. This year we stepped it up a little bit, had a game. They had like a little scavenger hunt where they could fill out the answers to trivia questions about Waverly so they can learn about what was here, either via Google, or we tried to encourage them to talk to some of the residents that were in attendance that night. And then once they filled out all those questions, they could bring it to us. They got some swag bags. I'd be happy to hear that a lot of the businesses donated a lot of really great things that they could take with them so that they could be familiar with some businesses in the area. So another event, we did another Juneteenth event. This one was another scavenger hunt. Again, we stepped up our efforts. We learned from last year, and this one went a little bit more smoothly. We highlighted 5 community members who identify as Black, who answered some questions for us. So we made posters, put them around the community, and each poster had a clue that would direct them to the next poster, ultimately leading to the farmer's market, where they could cash, or that they took pictures of themselves at each locations and got a free snow cone at farmer's market. So that was a good way to connect with farmer's market and also highlight Black excellence in our community and offer some educational materials for anyone that was interested in learning more about the holiday. That's a bulk of our work. Some of the things that we're looking ahead to 2025 have already been a lot of our, have been in the planning stages. We are collaborating with Crawdaddy Outfitters to do a glow float pride event. So it's not a big pride parade, but it's going to be like a float down the river, which we're super excited about. So something different, something that hopefully people can get excited about watching or participating in. We also have plans for a variety show. Again, I mentioned it the other day. We had the Heritage Days collaboration a couple years ago where we brought Dread I Dread in. That got good feedback. We got good feedback from that. We want to highlight local talent this time and spend a lot of manpower, more man hours and resources on facilitating a Waverly's Got Talent variety show in Coleman Park during that weekend. So it's going to require a lot of fun planning, and it's going to be awesome. That's the bottom line there. We also just had a meeting with Pathways. We were asked to just, collaborate with them on advertising, marketing, a training for naloxone, recognizing that opioid addiction doesn't affect any one particular demographic. So true to our mission, we wanted to help that effort. So that's going to come up here, I think, in February, a few weeks.
How about just a couple more words about what that is, the drug?
Pardon?
What the drug is.
For the people watching.
Oh, yeah.
What is
Naloxone.
yes.
So the training will provide anyone that wants to attend some background on opioid addiction, on what an overdose might look like, on the administration of naloxone, which is we learned when we talked with Pathways the other day that it's very specific I don't know, remedy for, an immediate remedy to overdose for anyone that wants to use it. Whoever wants to come to the training gets to take away a kit with them so that they can feel confident in administering it if necessary. So.
Okay, let me simplify it one more time. So this is for if a citizen were to encounter someone who is in the midst of an overdose, that they would have the training and the medicine with them to save that life.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. That was a much more concise way to say what I was trying to get at. Thank you. Yes.
We'll work on it together.
Yep. Yeah.
And do you know what the
so-
date is? Do you know what the date is on that?
Pardon?
Do you know the date?
February 18th
February 18th? Thank you.
at the library.
At the library. Yep. Yeah, thanks. And then we have the Social Loneliness and Isolation Project, which I think you are somewhat familiar with, but I'm going to invite Ashley up to share a little bit about it, because she's been heading up the effort to put that underway, so. And then I'll take over.
Yes, okay, I'm not ending the show. Hi, Ashley Smiley. Yeah, I told Andy I could probably give a better update. Been working with Linda and Nikolai a little bit on this initiative. So last time I was here, I presented the idea and the invitation for us to all collaborate on a listening session together. And you all have been very busy, so, and we've been very busy. So I'm going to keep working with Jen. We're going to look for a time where interested council members, city administration, anybody who would like to attend, just here in this room, can come to a 2-hour listening session. But I really today wanted to remind you the goal of the listening session, because the hope is that we would conduct one of these with you, and then between mid-April and throughout the end of May, I'm going to be pursuing a repeat of these listening sessions as much as we have manpower to do in small group settings to assess and acquire data around 4 areas. That's going to both guide our programming and our initiative, but also just give all of us, we hope to report back within a year, what is the community saying around these 4 questions. And so the heart of the project, it's called Social Loneliness and Isolation, but I suppose the reframe of that is that we're building connected communities. So it's an initiative to identify at this very ground level, one, what are the assets in Waverly? So in what ways are we already as a community doing this very well? What are the ways that we provide an opportunity to connect as a community? So we're gathering listening sessions, and from your perspectives and from other community groups and small groups, what are the ways that we're doing this well? Second, we're going to look at barriers, right? So what are the obstructions to people feeling connected in this community? And so we'll be asking you all to weigh in from your personal experience, from the communities that you represent, and then we'll be going out farther into the community and trying to get information for the people who don't feel connected here in Waverly. Let's get some data on why, and that will inform our work over the coming years. The last 2 questions are going to be meaning, so just getting sort of the pulse of the community on what does it mean to be connected here. That might be different for different people. And then the last question is going to be people, who's not heard? Who, if we're all sitting around that initial table in that initial listening session, who's missing from this table? Who are the voices that maybe aren't coming to the block parties, aren't accessing these listening sessions that we really do want to and need to hear from in order to inform our work? So that's the heart, again, of the project. We're really excited to work with you. It'll be, again, a 2-hour listening session. I'll be facilitating that. You'll have an agenda, and we hope you can make it.
All right, I wanted to close with a few personal comments. I asked Carla before this, like, is this okay if I just ad-lib a little bit of my own personal gratitude and pride with what we've done? So thank you for continuing to support the commission. I mentioned the other day, I feel like everyone on the commission wants to be able to offer something to Waverly. I think we're still constantly figuring out what that could look like. But we're hitting a good groove. It is a very small but mighty commission. I think sometimes we're limited with what we can do just because basically it's just a bunch of volunteers doing a lot of work, coming with great ideas, but our ideas are, we're limited by the manpower that we've got. The good news is that the more our name is out there, the more people come to us and say we'd like to be involved. So we've got a running list now of people that are offering some support in ways that, we hadn't otherwise had. So I want to, along those lines, offer and ask that as we move forward and you hear from the residents of Waverly any issues that you feel like might be pertinent to what we do or have any concerns with what we do, I think ongoing conversation is the best answer to that. So as you are interacting with people out there, please let them know that we are here. I also personally would, if a meeting is too much for someone to attend, I personally would like to meet with people one-on-one if they have concerns with regardless of what the concerns are. We know that, like I said the other day, DEI work is a loaded term now, so I feel like the only way beyond that is through it. So thank you for just remembering that we're here. We want to be intentional. We want to be responsible to the citizens of Waverly, and whatever we can do to do that, we are open to hearing. So I think that concludes the presentation. So if you've got any questions, I am open to answering.
Council, any questions or comments?
I suppose one comment I have is there have been a lot of questions about why we have this commission. And I kind of want to remind people about our visioning meeting back in 2018, because we had a meeting talking about what Waverly needs to make sure that we grow. And I mean, there were numbers thrown out about birth rate in Iowa, number of births, number of deaths, number of people moving out of state. And the only way that Iowa grows is through international immigration. That if you look at your demographics, the way that Iowa population has been increasing, our birth rate exceeds our death rate, but not by more than our net migration out of state. So we need international immigration to keep Iowa population growing. And the way that Waverly grows is by being welcoming to people who don't look like us. So I think that was a big part of why this commission was created, is acknowledging that in order for Waverly to grow, we have to be a welcoming community. And I think that's something that, why we need this commission and why Waverly needs to kind of make things more welcoming for everyone. So.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. One of the things I'm doing is teaching residents from the family practice residency at Mercy One. And I've had somebody from Saudi Arabia, somebody from Syria, Puerto Rico, everywhere. It's like, it's a small world. And so every time they work with me, I force them to take a tour of Waverly. Actually, they like it. But they're just charmed by what they see in Waverly. And although, they will be of privilege because they're physicians, I want them, and most of them have never lived in a town this small, at least in America, right? And so I want them to be able to think about Waverly as a realistic place to come practice. And they don't look like the majority of Waverly, but they're smart and they have something to offer. And a lot of them want to come practice medicine in a rural community. And so I want to do whatever I can do to make sure they feel welcome, regardless of what their sexual orientation is, their religious background, their ethnic background, whatever. And I think that the people that feel like we don't need commissions like this are people that might not personally need them for their own,
Demographic.
success in life, right? And so I think you're doing good work, and just keep it up. You've got some good ideas, and we'll do what we can do, or I personally will do what I can do to help you out.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate everything you're doing. I especially highlight your collaboration with Farmers Market, Library, Pathways. You're not really just a commission, you're really a nexus between different services in the community.
Starting to feel like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I did read the book, Unrigged, and I was particularly alarmed by the chapter about the role that dark money plays in elections. And I was particularly alarmed at how little of that dark money makes it down to the mayor and the city council. Unless you guys have got something I don't know about, but
It's still dark, isn't it?
it's still dark. Yeah.
So,
It was actually, I thought, a very frightening book, but,
Yeah.
but thanks for bringing that to our attention. Yes.
Okay. All right.
I just wanted to add, I think I naively, my concept of this commission when I first got on council, and it was just in its infancy, and I naively assumed that it was really going to focus on marginalized demographics, which I think is very important for us to address. But what I'm really excited about is how you have developed as a commission, and your mission and your activities have developed so that it's so much more than just, let's do what we can for marginalized demographics. It's much more about building community and building connections. And I think that's something that is so important in today's world, and I think it's important to us here as a community. And I think it makes the whole DEI stereotype make a whole lot more sense when we look at it from the larger
Wholesome.
picture of a community. I had an example arise to me last week where I was working with a client who falls within the senior citizen category, and who came to Waverly because there's family nearby, but not necessarily right here in the community. And I just offhandedly said to her, so how do you find Waverly? You know, how's it been for you? And I was surprised and somewhat saddened to hear some of her response to that, which was, in general, she's finding some good positive things, but also feeling some isolation in certain areas that she didn't expect to find it. And it really opened my eyes to, we're not just talking about those, you know, people that we typically think, oh, they're the ones we need to address when it comes to building community. It's everybody. And I really appreciate all that you're doing to that end. Thank you for that.
I'm going to second what everybody else has said here. I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. The way that this commission has matured and directed itself in the last few years, I think, is excellent. The one comment I want to make, I don't know who designed your logo. That's probably one of the best logos I have ever seen. It says very quickly what it is that you're about. And I kudos to whoever you have that did that, because it's a wonderful logo.
A lot of conversation went into that, yep, thanks. And, yeah, but there was Stephanie is our graphic designer. I think it was a collaborative effort with some designers, a designer at Wartburg, I think. So, yeah, thank you for noticing. That was, not very many people would recognize that, but that was, again, another intentional thing, so appreciate that. Great.
Along with what Julie said, I read an article today that talked about DEI, and it talked about two different kinds, lifting versus leveling. The lifting DEI is going to go away. The leveling is not, it is here to stay. And I really feel that that's where the commission is going, is that equity piece, which I really have loved being a piece of, so thank you.
Thank you.
And this would be a good time to plug Jen Wolf's article, that was editorial, that was in the paper two issues ago. That was I thought that was well written. Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much.
Keep up the good work.
Council, let us move on to item G, reports from boards and commissions. You have two reports in front of you, both from the airport. Any questions or comments? I hear none. That takes us to staff updates. James?
Brief one tonight, sir.
The Science Club tree sale is live. Brochures were made up about a week and a half ago. The deadline to get your tree order in is March 1st. And then pickup will be, you can pick up either May 2nd or May 3rd at the Parks Maintenance Building. There's 9 trees this year. And also on this brochure, there is a place for a donation for Prairie West Elementary. Last year we had a donation line for the new fairgrounds. We received about 100 trees, or they received about 100 trees. Right now we've got a, Trees Forever has a plan of about 51 trees at Prairie West. So it's live, go order your trees.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Alrighty, that takes us to the council. Councilperson Berrigan.
Nothing today. Executive session, can't go to the bar. No one knows when to show up.
Councilperson Jones. Nothing. Councilperson Myers.
I just wanted to once again thank city staff for all the hard work that went into preparation for Saturday's budget workshop and for the very difficult but judicious management over the last year that allowed this budget session to be a lot easier than last year's.
If we were here 8 hours, I imagine staff spent something more like 800 hours getting ready for that. Yes. Councilperson Kangas.
Good tonight.
Councilperson Draco.
I'm going to pass.
Councilperson Rothy.
Nothing
You
for
wasn't
me.
shocked when I say that.
Councilperson Wolf.
Tomorrow is National Kazoo Day.
Oh, that's right.
And downtown, that they're meeting at, TSJK Insurance at 4 o'clock, which I thought was a very innovative way to get people downtown. But there's gonna, Jim Fowles, the WSR band director, is gonna be down there and directing the kazoo band that's gonna.
Everyone is welcome.
Yes.
All musical ability, more than welcome.
Where was that at?
It's 103 East Reamer.
Okay.
So, looking forward to it. Our guest councilperson, this is your last opportunity to provide comments. Go for it.
Well, I suppose it was pure luck that being the guest council person in January got me to sit in on the budget session on Saturday. I'm glad I did.
Can you come up to the mic?
Oh, I certainly can. I will say that again. It was pure luck that I was guest council person in January. That gave me an opportunity to, I could have come anyway, I suppose, to the budget session on Saturday. I'm glad I did. I've shared this with a couple members of the council. I will say that I was impressed by hearing the staff leadership in this community explain and how this budget was put together and how tight that budget really is in terms of the operating departments of this city and some of the pressures that they're dealing with in terms of coming up. You're thinking, well, it's the same thing that's happening across the economy, rapidly raising personnel costs, higher fuel costs, and then you have to combine higher fuel costs with the fact that what you get from the state gas tax revenue is flat. So that makes that particular area of the city, puts it in a much more difficult position. So most people don't want to sit through however many hours that was, but it's too bad you can't distill some of that into something quite, concise in terms of just what the combination of factors are that go into that budget. Because I came away with a much better understanding of why Waverly is where it's at in terms of its budget and its tax rate and that type of thing. So I actually appreciated having that opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Charleston. That's very nice words. The newspaper in the last issue had a really interesting article on the history of the bridge. And how Mr. Studevant built the first bridge in town, a free bridge, no toll, and then it collapsed. So, but okay, the bridge is out, but we had a cash mob last week, we've got a kazoo band this week, we've got, Chamber is just working like crazy to help generate interest and activity downtown. I couldn't be more proud and pleased of the efforts Waverly is making to make this bridge out time bearable. So I say, be like the kazoo band. Be kind. Friends, the City Council may now move into executive session if it chooses to discuss strategy with council in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent, where the disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the governmental body in that litigation, as provided by Section 21.5, subsection C of the Code of Iowa. Is there a motion to move into executive session?
Move that we move into executive session.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. This would be a roll call vote to move into executive session. Carla?
Okay. Bergen.
Yes.
Drinkow.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Rafi.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
That passed unanimously. Thank you very much. This council is now in executive session.